So guys, if you watched the video yesterday about the vehicles that were basically passed to the devs for consideration and were basically they're just for consideration, right? And they should be added right now, like the MiG-31 and some others. If you watched that video, you'll notice that I normally do these videos with 5 additions that were passed to the devs, right? But I did a video with 4. So why was that? Well, because there was one addition that I think it needs to be added, but I don't think that version specifically needs to be added now, and it was the Viper Zero, the F-2, but the prototype that was basically like very advanced, late kind of 5th generation studies kind of situation, right? It was suggested by Fire Rate 233, and I think it's very cool, but the thing is, we need the first, like, the normal production model before we get to something like that, right? So that was why I didn't add in that video. But today I wanted to talk about the F-2 again a little bit, right? The Mitsubishi F-2, as you know, guys, it is the evolution of the F-16, is what the F-16 was meant to be, in my opinion, in a 4.5 generation kind of situation, right? Because it has an AESA, of course, like, eventually the F-16s are getting upgrades, but nothing as big as the F-2 upgrade, right? So you have the AESA radar, you have the enlarged wings so that you can turn more, and many other little things like anti-ship missiles and other little things here and there that will make that aircraft a proper 4.5 generation, right? And that's the Mitsubishi F-2. And I gotta say, I do believe that Gaijin will continue to add these aircraft throughout the year, the next year, right? Starting with the December patch that should come very soon. By the way, no dev blog today, okay? But it was confirmed, I mean, or denied, right? So at the end of the day, guys, we probably will see 4.5 generations really put the foot in the door right now with this update, with the leaks that we had. So the Eurofighter, the Rafale, and some others will appear. But isn't it the perfect time for the Japanese actually receive a proper top-tier jet that is, you know, somewhat a domestic design? I mean, it's not a fully domestic design because it's still an F-16 technically, but you know what I mean, right? An aircraft that isn't the F-15J to be added there, right? So I think it is, right? Especially if we see the Eurofighter, especially if we see the Rafale. And I mean, the leaks, they're not excluding some other additions, but normally something as big as the F-2 would be there, right? So the idea with the video is to explain why this aircraft would be perfect right now. So I have 3 reasons, right? The first one would be that the next gen in technology of radar, okay guys? So we are getting there. We are getting to the next gen of radars. We had the Su-34 being added last patch with the PESA, but yeah, electronic scanned array radars are coming, right? Apparently, if the leaks are true, we will see somewhat of 2 at least aircraft with that as well, the Rafale with a PESA, and of course the Kafir C-10 Block 60, which has an AESA, right? And of course these radars in the early stages, they're not that different from pulse Dopplers, but the thing is they can do some other little things that Gaijin will implement, like for example having an enormous amount of speed for scanning, especially after the first scan, right? So the idea is that Gaijin apparently is working on a feature that electronic scanned array radars will have, that you basically will scan the whole area first with TWS, for example, and the second time the radar will take a quick look, since it's so fast for scanning and changing direction in degrees and stuff, and it will basically look at the other target that you already detected before, and then return with the search, and look again and return, look again and return, and that makes it up for being almost instantaneously, basically, of a detection or a continuation of a detection through a target that you already detected, right? This thing I think is amazing for situational awareness, and we'll probably see that coming very soon. They already confirmed that they are working on that, right? And the F-2 would be that line of thinking of a better radar for Japan, right? Of course, they can add an AESA for an F-15J and stuff, but it wouldn't be that cool, right? The F-2 is the aircraft that I think every Japanese main loves, right? The second one is that Japan doesn't have a lot of options, right? At the end of the day, they are probably gonna continue to add, as the leaks are saying, and we already have a vehicle from that nation there, but more Thai vehicles there, which is fine. I think the more we have in a certain tech tree that really needs it, the better, right? It's kind of weird to see, for example, the Soviets or the Americans having a subtree, but the Japanese, especially the Japanese, are one of the nations that are in the most dire need of subtrees. But at the same time, there are still things that need to be added right now that would be on par with the stuff that we have in top tier and in the future of top tier right now that are Japanese. And the Mitsubishi is the main one, right? The F-2 is the main aircraft that would be that stopping gap of, I mean, it's not even a stopping gap, but it's basically an aircraft that can be added there that it's gonna fill all the blanks needed in that BR range for the Japanese for a very long time, right? And the third reason is that we kind of have a feeling as a community, and I think even though they kind of disagree with us and stuff, and I know a lot of people like will maybe try to defend, but at the end of the day, I feel like the community sees that some of these minor nations, like smaller nations in options at least, now they are geopolitically smaller, right? Just that these nations that don't have a lot of things that can be added, eventually they get so little that there's not really a reason for you to grind it, right? And the Japanese tech tree, I feel like it's one of those. So the more stuff they add there, the better. Even if they add a very early model of the F-2, even if they add it with, I don't know, like capped kind of stuff, you know, so maybe, I mean, back in the day, people were asking for this vehicle to have just a normal kind of radar that it's faster to be the AESA. And together with that, the Sparrows and just the normal AIM-9Ls, right? But of course, we already have the AIM-20s, we have AIM-9Ms and stuff, all like AM-3s, AM-4s, all missiles that are already there. So there's really no reason for not to add the Mitsubishi F-2 there. Even the aircraft itself is so similar to the F-16 that I don't think the model would be that hard to do anyway, right? So just like, I mean, I would still put the Germans with the most dire need first in a new top tier jet, but I think the Japanese would be the second. Although they have the F-15C, which is an amazing aircraft, one of the best in the game, I still believe they need an indigenous this is a very hard word to say from a Portuguese speaking person, but a domestic quote-unquote design of a Japanese aircraft, right? So these are the three reasons I think we need the F-2 right now, especially if the Eurofighter and the Rafale are coming, right? So hopefully it gets added very soon. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Mitsubishi. I love the thing. Hopefully it gets added very quickly. I'm more of an F-18 kind of guy on NATO, like Western stuff, but the F-16 grew like on my likeness of vehicles very much after it was added to War Thunder, and just feeling an AESA equipped F-16 that can turn more than any other F-16 in theory, it just, I mean, it has to be added. It has to be added. So yeah, very cool aircraft. Let me know in the comments. Click the like button. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye. See ya.